Hi, and welcome to another edition of Adventures in Brew Slang. I'm your host, Joshua Karbowich, and today we'll be doing Yuengling's Oktoberfest. Yuengling Brewery is located in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, which is also my home state. As a child, my father drank a lot of Yuengling, and my aunt and uncle actually lived right down the road from Dick Yuengling in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. They could actually talk to him while he walked his dog around the block. My dad, actually, when we moved here to Florida, used to write to Dick Yuengling about certain beers that we couldn't get here in Florida, and he would actually write back. When I was about 17 or 18 years old, we went to Pottsville, Pennsylvania to take a tour of the Yuengling Brewery, and my aunt, since she knew Dick Yuengling, we showed up and we asked for Dick Yuengling, and he came out from the back and talked to us for about 20 minutes. He even gave us free t-shirts, answered all my dad's questions, shook his hand. The man's very, very personal, and ever since then I've always been a big Yuengling drinker. Here in Florida, we don't get every single Yuengling brew out there, but we do have actual brewery in Tampa. Also, Yuengling Brewery is one of those breweries where every time you go to a bar or even a place, a liquor store, they tell you, well, you know, it's America's oldest brewery. And for good measure, too, because I think it was last month or the month before, Yuengling actually overtook Samuel Adams in sales of beers in the United States, which is, it's an amazing feat, you know, to be a family-owned and operated the largest brewery in the United States and only be on this seaboard. So, without further ado, let's get into the brew. This is actually the bottle. It's an orange bottle. It's a twist off. All Yuenglings are mostly twist offs. Let's see how it pours. I'll pour it in there. And it's kind of got a browner look than a lot of beers out there. Especially Yuengling is actually a little bit lighter than this, even though they label it as a amber. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of head. Usually, most of the more known name breweries out there have a rather large head, almost 1 to 2 fingers. This one doesn't have too many fingers. So, smelling it, it smells a lot like a regular Yuengling. Regular Yuengling has this kind of caramelly smell to it, and mostly when you smell it, you get smell like a slight fruity underpinning, which is great. You know, I mean, you can go anywhere, especially in Florida. Everybody loves Yuengling. Everybody drinks Yuengling, especially in Pennsylvania. Everybody drinks Yuengling. So, but let's take a taste and see how this puppy tastes. Right off the bat, you can kind of taste peppery, which is great because most Oktoberfest beers, Samuel Adams has an Oktoberfest, Warsteiner has an Oktoberfest. It's a big thing nowadays to come out with a Oktoberfest beer, mostly for the fact, you know, once it gets colder, everybody wants something a little bit heavier, a little bit warmer to drink to, you know, carry them through the winter. And there's actually not a lot of carbonation to this as maybe a St. Pauli Girl or even a Warsteiner, even a Stella Artois I find have a lot of carbonation. This has a slight amount of carbonation to it, and as you get down a little bit farther, it seems to increase the taste with more, a little bit of bitter, a little bit of spice, and a little bit of fruity underpinning, which is great because I find with a lot of beers, the farther you go down, the more enjoyable it is. And it's more evident in craft beers than actual, you know, big name companies like Yuengling or even Sierra Nevada or Budweiser. So. As you can see too, when you swirl it, there's not a lot of anything. You know,
There's not even a lot of sud on there. And with a lot of beers, especially beers you can get in, you know, your local supermarket or even at a gas station or wherever you might buy beers, you're not going to find that. Mostly when you swirl around the beer, you're going to find a lot of yeast or hop around your glass when it's a beer that's over 10% and you can get more of that sort of thing. But as far as this Yuengling, the Oktoberfest, I actually kind of like it more than a Samuel Adams. I mean, maybe it's hometown nostalgia. Maybe it's just, you know, the Yuengling name. Maybe it just hits me the right way. But I definitely like this beer a lot. However, you know, I've had a Warsteiner Oktoberfest, and I definitely rate it up there with them. It's a great beer, you know. I mean, it's definitely something that if you're out on the town on a cold night, this would definitely warm you up. And Yuengling has so many different beers, and hopefully we could do them in the future. I can't get a porter or an 1876 down here in Florida. They don't actually make them at the Tampa Brewery. And that's something, you know, maybe, man, it's got to be about 5, maybe 8 years ago that we talked to Dick Yuengling. They just don't make those brews here in Florida. So maybe eventually somewhere down the line we can get them in here and we can enjoy them. As always, if you have any brews that you want us to try out, or you have any comments, just leave them below, and we'll try our best to get back to you in a timely, prompt manner. And you have a great day.